Hello, this is Biju Kalathil, your host with naturecuremethod.com. Today I'll be talking about eating for good health. The topics I'm going to cover are the basics of a healthy diet, eating habits, the importance of fiber in the diet, whole grains, the best breakfast foods you can have, fruit and milk as a combination, vegetable snacks, food preparation, food combinations, the basics of liquids, the number of meals that are recommended, and conclusions. The basics of a healthy diet are as follows. The most important thing is the food proportions. Fruits and vegetables should be 70% of your overall diet. Carbohydrates 15% and proteins 15%. The emphasis is on natural vitamins and minerals and also the fiber. And that's where the fruits and vegetables come in. And for each meal, for example, for breakfast, 50% should be fruit and 50% should be carbohydrate, which gives you energy for the whole day. There will be more examples of breakfast foods later on. Lunch and dinner should be 50% vegetable, 25% carbohydrate, and 25% protein. And for snacks, you can have a combination of fruit, milk, and nuts, or fruit, yogurt, and nuts, or vegetable, crackers, and cheese. Eating habits are an important part of healthy living. Start the day with a glass of water and wait 1 hour before breakfast, which will help flush the system. It's important that you eat only when you're hungry. Delay the meal time until you are hungry, and skip a meal if you have to, or substitute a meal with a snack if you're not hungry for a full meal. Always take your time and enjoy the meal, never rush. It's very important that you chew the food well. Chew each mouthful 32 times consciously in the beginning until it becomes a habit. In other words, you have to drink your foods by chewing it well, and you have to eat your liquids by slowly gulping it and not doing it in a rush. And another important part is allowing 3 hours after dinner before going to bed. Most of the digestion should be complete before going to bed. The increased metabolism due to the digestion generates internal heat in the body. The body needs to cool down for good quality sleep. So that's the reason you need to have most of the digestion done before going to bed. Fiber is an important part of your diet. Every meal should have sufficient fiber. Fiber is important for a healthy bowel. It avoids constipation, and the number of bowel movements should be the same as the number of meals. Good sources of fiber are fruits, vegetables, and whole grain. Meat and fish don't have any fiber. Whole grains are an important part of your diet. Always use whole grains when possible. Bread should be whole wheat or whole grain multigrain. Rice should be brown or red, not white. But if white rice cannot be avoided, compensate for that by twice the quantity of vegetable. In other words, vegetable should be twice the volume of rice. For breakfast cereals, choose whole grain products. Breakfast cereal should be the last choice for breakfast because of the long shelf life. More on breakfast foods later. For breakfast foods, these are the options, healthy options. You can have avocado toast with whole wheat bread and oranges or orange juice, or whole wheat bread with just oranges, or whole grain breakfast cereal with milk and orange juice, in that order. Eggs can be added to breakfast, averaging 1 egg per day. Eggs are high in protein and vitamins A and D. Alternately, you can have a light breakfast with just fruit and milk, and also you can add nuts for a more complete meal. Fruit and milk is a great combination for a snack. Milk neutralizes the acidity in the fruit, so always have milk with fruits. And the milk should be always whole milk and always organic. So the good fruits are the ones that are not strong tasting, like strawberries, blueberries, oranges, apples, peaches, and pears. And they should be always organic. For example, conventional strawberries are packed with pesticides. Avoid strong tasting fruits like mangoes and papaya for a snack, but okay for a dessert, which will be in smaller quantities. And a special note about oranges, you cannot combine that with milk as it makes the milk curdle. You can combine that with yogurt, but have oranges first and wait half an hour for the digestion to be completed before having the yogurt. For vegetable snacks, you can combine a vegetable with cheese and crackers. For example, carrots with cheese and crackers, 8 ounces of carrots, 1 ounce of cheese, 1 ounce of crackers, or which will be like 15 mini wheat crackers, for a total calorie count of 350. Other vegetables you can have for snacks are cucumber and cherry tomatoes. Food preparation methods are very important in nature cure. Avoid fried foods. The oil absorbed in the batter or flour with the fried food significantly increases the calories and fat. And also the high heat used in frying destroys the natural vitamins and proteins in the raw foods. Vegetables should be raw, or if cooked, should be crispy, not overcooked and soft. This maintains the naturally occurring vitamins and minerals. For meat and fish, they should ideally be grilled or pan fried in little oil, never deep fried. For oils, usually coconut oil or olive oil, not vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is ultra processed. So you always want to avoid ultra processed foods. For food combinations, do not combine too many foods in one meal. Just have one carbohydrate, one vegetable, and one protein, which makes a complete meal. Keep the meal simple, as simple meals make digestion simpler. For liquids, the best drink is always water. Limit water with food as it dilutes the digestive juices. You can have half a glass with a meal and the remaining half a glass over the next hour in small doses so that you don't quickly dilute the digestive juices. But the best time for water is 2 hours after a meal. Milk is great with fruit, as we talked about. Fruit juices like orange juice with breakfast is a good option. Coconut water is a great option. It's high in antioxidants and minerals like potassium, sodium, magnesium, and calcium. As far as coffee, tea, and wine, it's best to limit it, but you can have it in moderation to enjoy fine living. As far as the number of meals per day, younger people can have 3 meals and a snack. Older people can have 2 meals and a snack, but always have a breakfast, which is high in whole grain, carbohydrates, and fruits. To conclude, healthy eating habits is the basis of good health and long life. Use the basics in this presentation and do further research to craft a suitable diet plan for your liking and lifestyle. Healthy eating is a constant process of trial and error to find out what suits your taste and health outcomes. Healthy eating habits is a lifelong project of learning. I am still learning after 4 decades of practicing Nature Cure. But the most important thing is to make healthy eating your number one priority. Nothing directly promotes good health more than the food you eat. This concludes my presentation on eating for good health. If you enjoyed this presentation, please like this presentation and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and see you in the next presentation.